Hi everyone. Once again, my name is Garrett. We got a lot to cover today, so I'm gonna get going. I am joined again by my lovely wife and director, who is behind the camera, writing down any questions that you guys have as they come in. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about, any either new skill or something that you didn't do before COVID that now you're doing at home. For me, for example, my wife and I have taken up rollerblading as we go out and take our as I take my wife and kids out for a walk, we started rollerblading. So anybody who has any kind of fun, either playing guitar or whatever it may be, shoot those in as we go through. Today I'm going to be going through our April wine club shipment. So these are 4 different wines that was in our April shipment, but not all are in the same shipment. So if you were in the all white wine club, you would have had the Cuvée Blanc and the Rosé of Grenache. If you were in the mixed club, you would get the Rosé of Grenache, the Pinot Noir, and the 8 Barrel Syrah. And if you're in the all reds, you would just have the Pinot and 8 Barrel. So for those who are watching, club members, if you're watching, or if you happen to have any of these wines, pick one of them or 2 of them, or hey, all 3 of them if you want. But go ahead and open one up, and we'll taste them together. I have actually not tasted these 3 wines: the Rosé, the Pinot, and the 8 Barrel Syrah. I have had the Cuvée Blanc before, but usually, when we have a new wine club shipment that comes out, we're at the winery and the winemaker will do a demo and taste through these wines with the staff. But since we didn't have that opportunity, I'll be tasting these wines for my first time, just as you guys are. Just a couple things as well. Again, our running promotion is if you purchase 3 or more bottles, we're offering $5 shipping on any order. Our upcoming schedule. This Saturday, I'll be doing a basics into blind tasting. So for those who are, interested in learning a little bit more about the, how to blind taste and, how blind tasting is used in the winemaking process, please tune in this Saturday. After that, the last Wednesday of the month, next week, I'll be doing the 2016 Chapel G Syrah. And that'll be our last wine for the month of April. So going into May, we already got our May schedule posted on our website at zacamesa.com. So go check it out. We got a full calendar. Same thing every Wednesday and Saturday. I'll be going live. The first Saturday of May, May 2nd, I will be joined by Lamar from Wine Militia. So we'll be talking and tasting our 2017 Grenache. All the wines are listed on our website that we'll be doing for the month of May. So we're giving everyone the opportunity to purchase those wines ahead of time so you can taste them with me. And you don't have to purchase all of them, but if you want to, purchase some of the ones that we're doing so we can taste them together, we are offering, again, $5 shipping as well as 15% off if you buy all 6 of the different wines for non-wine club members, except for the Estrella Syrah, which is non-discounted. But you can get those wines ahead of time so you can join with me. But let's get started. We got 4 wines to go over. I'm going to start with our Cuvée Blanc. And again, I've tasted this wine prior to this, but I have not had these other wines. So it'll be my first time tasting these other 3 with you guys if anyone's joining. And if anybody has any of these wines right now, chime in. Let me know, which wine you're drinking. If you're drinking the Rosé, the Pinot, the 8 Barrel, Cuvée Blanc, let me know what you're drinking. And if you're not drinking any of these, let me know what you're drinking tonight. So I'm going to start with our Cuvée Blanc. So this is a white Rhone blend that we do. It has been my favorite white wine at Zaca Mesa for quite some time. And the blending components change from vintage to vintage. But in most cases, it's either Roussanne dominant or Grenache Blanc dominant. This particular vintage, which is 2017, is 58% Syrah, 58% Syrah, 39% Grenache Blanc, and 3% Viognier. So this is a Roussanne dominant white Rhone blend. And this wine is mostly aged in neutral French oak. There is a little bit of new oak coming from the Roussanne component into this wine. But being that it's Roussanne dominant, it definitely has that big Roussanne quality to it. It's got more structure. It's got that really nice roundness to it. That little floral hint that comes through from the Viognier, and then Grenache Blanc just brings in that really bright, crisp green apple, lemon lime zest, and then Roussanne has that like spiced pear and fig and honey. But one thing I really love about this wine is that you get a piece of each one of those varietals, and together they make a completely different wine and a beautiful wine. So if you have never had this wine, I highly recommend it. Again, this is Z Cuvée Blanc. It's been one of our staple white wines at Zaca Mesa for quite some time now. Roussanne based with Grenache Blanc and Viognier. Sorry? Right. Yeah. You can order this during or after this broadcast. Great wine, and it's a great price point. It's under $30. Great wine. All right, let's move on to the rosé. I've been really excited about this wine. We don't make a lot of rosé, and it only comes out in this April club shipment, and it's usually gone by fall. So we really don't have it for that long, and we always miss this wine as employees at the winery. When this wine starts getting low, you see people panicking and start buying cases of it to stock up. It's always been a really beautiful wine. And this is 100% Grenache. So this is a dry Rosé of Grenache. And just right off the nose, as I remember it, just a lot of beautiful, red fruit, strawberry and watermelon, a little tangerine as well. The aging for it, we do partial, mainly stainless steel, but we also do a little bit of neutral French oak on it. So do a little bit of neutral French oak on the aging just to add a little more texture and roundness to the wine. So we do the rosé as a true rosé. We have a specific block of Grenache grapes that we grow just for the rosé program. These are hand harvested, thrown into our bladder press. We do about just over 2-hour skin press in our bladder press. And then that juice is then cold settled off into our fermentation tank. So you get that nice, lovely kind of really vibrant pink color. Again, 100% Grenache, and Grenache is such a great varietal for rosé. Two of my favorite would be Grenache and Pinot Noir as far as rosés go. Oh man, just as I remembered. Again, just real juicy. Has that really bright acidity. Just gets your mouth salivating. A lot of big, nice, fresh red fruit. For me, I've always get this little kind of, and not like in a sweet way, but just kind of aromatically, watermelon Jolly Rancher. And if you have this wine, or if you are planning on getting it, remember that. And usually when I say this in the tasting room, people kind of click with it. But it always has this kind of like watermelon Jolly Rancher. And watermelon Jolly Ranchers were always my favorite Jolly Rancher when I was younger. Anybody have this rosé at home right now? Drinking this? Got some rosé drinkers? Do you have any questions?
People said they love their rosé. They've already finished it.
Already finished it? Nice. Couldn't wait for the tasting. I get it. It's a great rosé. So let's move over to the new vintage of Pinot Noir. This is our 2018 vintage. Again, we are sourcing from Bien Nacido Vineyard out in the beautiful Santa Maria Valley, the heart of Santa Maria Valley. Just over 800 acres of vineyard, part of Bien Nacido. Best known for their Pinot Noir and Chardonnay grapes. A nice cooler climate, coastal vineyard site. And The Pinot Noir is part of our homage collection, and if you joined us back in March, I did the Pinot Noir, the 2017 Pinot Noir, as one of our live tastings. And the homage collection are all varietals that we used to grow at Zaca Mesa at one point of our history, have since pulled, and now we're sourcing them from local vineyards that are really, well known for and better suited for these varietals. So 2013 was the beginning of the homage collection that was started by Kristen Bryden, our current head winemaker, who was assistant winemaker at the time. And if you're going to get Pinot, Nacido has got to be in the top for Pinot Noir in California. So again, this is my first time tasting it. One of my favorite things about Pinot Noir, just as a varietal, is it's always been the aromatics. I tend to smell it more than I do drinking it. It's all those beautiful floral characteristics, the different red fruit. Just a beautiful wine. And another great vintage. Wow. I think, just going off of how I just tasted the 17 and now tasting the 18. The 18's got this really rich, like pomegranate and cranberry note to it. Just really, really fresh. Man, that's beautiful. This is going to be a great wine. Definitely has a lot of ageability in it. We aged this wine for 10 months in about 20% new French oak. So just a little bit of new French oak on there, which really, nicely comes out in this wine. This is a really fruit-forward vintage. I mean, that fruit on this wine is just really, really fresh. It just pops out. Anybody having the Pinot at home in your wine club collection? Nice. Hello out there in Kansas. All right, so we've gone through the Cuvée Blanc, our white Rhone blend, the beautiful Rosé of Grenache 2019 vintage, the 2018 Pinot Noir from Nacido Vineyard, and now we're going to move over to, as if you've been following me and watching these, you know that the 8 Barrel Syrah has been my favorite wine at Zaca Mesa as far as our reds go for a long time. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Question?
Denise asked, what do you pair Pinot with?
What do you pair Pinot Noir with? It's a great question. Pinot Noir is actually one of my favorite wines to pair with because of its versatility. It is a red wine, but it is a lighter red wine. One of my favorites is pork belly, and I just had it just a few nights ago, actually, here at home. We did pork belly sliders, and that was awesome. Pork belly's great. Any type of pork dishes are also good. You could go with poultry as well. Risotto, do like a nice mushroom risotto, and some seared salmon. It's got a lot of versatility to it, which is great because it is lighter. I try to stay away from red meat for the most part. It could be a little too dominant for Pinot, so I like to keep it in the lighter side of more of the poultry, salmon, and pork dishes, and those seem to work really well with Pinot Noir. But move it over to the Syrah, then you can start jumping into some of those bigger, heartier red meat dishes. So this is our 2017 8 Barrel Syrah. All right. I don't know if you guys know, you probably can't see it, but in each wine, I got a different glassware for each varietal. So this is actually the new glassware we got in the tasting room. It's a little more universal. It's a little more classic Bordeaux style glass. For the rosé, this is a little bit more for white wine, but again, kind of more the Bordeaux style. And then I have the Burgundian Pinot Noir glass, and then our Riedel Hermitage glass for the Rhone Syrah, specifically in Rhone varietals. So each little different glassware. And I'll actually be doing a glassware demo in May. So May 16th, if you're interested in learning more about how the glassware matters for varietals, join me on May 16th for that. So let's get to the 8 Barrel Syrah. So anybody got the 8 Barrel Syrah out there? Definitely one of the most popular Syrahs and overall just wines that we make at Zaca Mesa. Like I just said, my personal favorite Syrah that we make. The 8 Barrel program started in '93 with our winemaker Daniel Gers. Daniel Gers for our winery was really the main guy who started really focusing on our Rhone varietal program at Zaca Mesa. That's when things really kind of switched over to focusing specifically on Rhone varietals. So the 2017 8 Barrel Syrah, it's a blend of 3 blocks: Mesa B, Mesa A, and Chapel G. So we got a little bit of the Chapel G block in here. This vintage is aged 19 months and about 8% New French oak. So for those who are really familiar with 8 Barrel, 8 Barrel is usually actually aged in a bit more New French oak. We usually get closer to 35 to even 40% New French oak on 8 Barrel. So a little different on this vintage, and I'm assuming that Kristen had a very good reason why pulling back on the oak. I'm sure I'm going to find out here why she wanted the wine to be a little more expressive and the fruit to come out a little bit more. 17 as a vintage was a little more wet. We had a higher average rainfall that year, so that could be a part of it. Wow. Well, I get it. Wow, that's great. Anybody who's having 8 Barrel right now, let me know what you guys think. Just really rich, black and red fruit, and it has this like dried leather, a rich kind of spicy meatiness to it, and it really doesn't need a lot of oak. Well, that's great. It's got a lot of different things going on. It's got the fruit, it's got the meatiness. I mean, this is like classic Zaca Mesa Syrah right here. And even though it's lighter on oak profile, we have a little more barrel time on it. We usually do, I think, around 16 to 18 months on 8 Barrel, so 19 months on this vintage. So a longer time, but less oak, and it came out beautifully. So 8 Barrel Syrah program, this is a cooperage select. So Kristen, our head winemaker, she selects a couple of her favorite cooperages out of the about 13 that we go through, and she isolates this wine into a couple of her favorite cooperages. Wow, this is great. Yeah, it's got a lot of spice. Maybe being it was a little cooler year, some of those more secondary characteristics are coming out, and we just didn't need as much, or didn't want to put as much New French oak on it, but it comes out beautifully. One of my favorite qualities of 8 Barrel Syrah, that is why it's always been one of my favorite wines and my favorite Syrah, is its complexity. It's got all this really rich, red and dark fruit, but it also has a lot of this kind of meaty spice to it, and in either one doesn't dominate the other, and it just works perfectly. Kind of mixed up. So what do you guys think out of these wines? Any comments or questions about any of the new club wines? Again, I want to remind everyone, if you purchase 3 or more bottles, you get $5 shipping on any order. You can go to our website, zacamesa.com, or you can email me directly, Garrett at zacamesa.com. Also, our running promo is still going, which is if you purchase 3 or more bottles, you could set up a private virtual tasting with me. So Purchase any 3 or more bottles. Pick a wine out of the 3 that you purchase, 3 or more, and we'll do a private tasting. And you can invite friends, from across the country to join in, so they can be a part of it. Send them the same wine so they can have the same wine too, and we'll make it a party.
Denise Smith asks, "What's your best Syrah?"
What's our best Syrah? That's a tough question. Everybody's gonna have a different answer, but I would. I think overall our most popular and well-known Syrah is our Black Bear Block Syrah. This Syrah is the oldest Syrah vines on the Central Coast. These were planted back in 1978, and it's only 3.5 acres. All those grapes go into one program, which is the Black Bear Block bottling, and we just get a little over 100 cases. These are all original rootstock. 40-plus-year-old vines now. Very low yielding, but just produced a very complex, high-quality grape. And if you've never had it, I highly, highly, highly recommend trying it. Black Bear Block Syrah.
Jeff7230 asks, "If you age in less oak, is that new oak? And what is the other aging vessel?"
Yeah, so basically what it means on a percentage, if you say, for example, in the Pinot's case, 10 months in 20% new French oak. And what that means is 20% of the juice from that vintage is in a new barrel. A new barrel is typically 1 to 3 years old, and permits a much higher oak flavor and oak content onto the wine because it's newer. The other 80% is going to be in neutral French oak, which are 3-plus-year-old barrels, which don't impart as much flavor, but still play a part in aging the wine. The best way I like to describe it, and when I'm giving winery tours, is it's like having a cup of tea. If you have a cup of hot water, put your tea bag in your water, you have the first cup. That first cup is going to be the most flavorful. If you pour hot water on that same tea bag, by the time you get to the 3rd, 4th, 5th cup, it's going to be bland. And that's kind of how you think of a wine barrel. It's its most flavorful those first few years or aging cycles, and then after that it starts losing that oak flavor. That's why as wineries, you have to get new barrels every year to get that brand new oak flavor. Each one of these French barrels costs anywhere from $1,400 to $2,000. So they're not cheap. And it's something that we have to continuously do.
WW32146 asks, "Are you going to talk about the cab in the future?"
Yes. I don't have it on the May schedule, but as this continues, it is something going into June. If it comes to it, that'll definitely be on there. I'm just going through different wines. If you would like to do the cab, we could set up a private virtual tasting with that. I would love to go over the cab with you. Again, you just purchase the wine online or email me, and we could set up a private virtual tasting with the cab. So yeah, anytime.
JSams25 asks, "Are all of the 8 barrels always such a deep purple color?"
Yeah, 8 Barrel Syrah just has that beautiful, rich, dark color to it. One, it has to do with the varietal. Syrah is a very dark, pigmented grape, and also, just the wine itself, the process, the extraction just makes this wine very, very dark hued.
Smith asks, "What do you do with the old barrels?"
Yeah, so the old barrels, we use the barrels for typically they'll last anywhere about around 10 years, sometimes more, sometimes a little less. And we do different things. Sometimes if they could still hold together, there's breweries that request them for beer, making beers. But most of the time they end up turning into furniture, coffee tables, chairs, bar stools. We sell them out of the tasting room for I think $45 for a half barrel and $65 for a whole, so not nearly close to what they cost when we first bought them. But people buy them, and there's this whole furniture style that people can make out of the barrels. We actually have a few of those in our tasting room as some of our tables in our tasting room.
Jessica Conan asks, what is the email again for a private tasting?
Yeah, email me, Garrett, Garrett, at zacamesa.com. Do you want to post that on there? Thank you. And you can email me directly. I can put in the order for you, and then we could schedule a tasting right there. Any other questions? Any other questions, guys? All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining me again. This Saturday, I will be doing a demo on how to blind taste. As a certified sommelier, I had to practice and study this many times, and there is a fun part to it, and just the basics of it. There's some really just kind of unique little tricks of the trade that I'm going to give you guys, so you can impress your friends at your blind tasting parties when this thing is all over. And then after Saturday, the last Wednesday of the month, we're doing the 2016 Chapel G Syrah. So again, 3 more bottles, $5 shipping. Still running that promotion all month long into the next month. Schedule a private virtual tasting with myself. Email me, Garrett, at zacamesa.com, or go on our website to order. Other than that, thank you, everyone. Thank you for the club members out there that got their club shipment and joined me tonight. And thank you for all our non-club members out there for watching. I appreciate it. And this has been really fun. And I will see you guys hopefully on Saturday. So Saturday, blind tasting demo. Please join me. It's going to be fun. I'm actually, and part of that, real quick, I'm going to have my wife paper bag the wine, so I won't even know what I'm tasting, and we'll go through it like I'm blind tasting wine. So please join me. Everyone have a great evening. We'll see you Saturday.